Okay, we are back. Um, and these were the two algorithms that you were supposed to analyze. And you can see that these are the solutions for the first one and for the second one. So in fact, there is a point over here that this is a faster algorithm. The second one is faster, although both of them are calculating the value of E. Okay, so this segment is going to conclude this lecture. And I'm going to just now mention some of the basic, what we have learned. I'm going to summarize. Okay, so we did come up with an analysis strategy. And so what is this analysis strategy? So the first idea was we are going to express time taken T of n as a function of n, okay, where n in this case was a parameter that defined the duration, but in general you will see that it's going to be a parameter which roughly indicates the size of the instance or sort of how big that instance is, okay. Now you will note that the exact expression for T of n is hard to determine uh, because it depends heavily on the constants in it depend heavily on the language, computer speed, etc. Okay, but it should be possible for you to determine the form of T of n. That was the first idea. The second idea was that we don't really even need to worry about the form. We only need the dominant term in T of n. So not that T of n is a n plus b, but just that the dominant term is n, or not that the T of n is upper bounded by 2 to the n times c plus something, but just that it is upper bounded by some function whose dominant term is 2 to the n. Okay. So this will give us an indication of the time for large n. So that was what we are after. Okay, and it will also enable comparison between the times for two algorithms. Okay, the ratio is going to tell us if the ratio is going to tend to 0, then we'll know that one algorithm is much faster. Okay. Now note that in this style, we may not be able to compare algorithms always. Okay, so suppose two algorithms respectively, so first one takes time a n plus b and the second one takes time a prime n plus b prime. Okay, the leading term in both is n. So if you take a ratio, then that will tend to a upon a prime as n tends to infinity. But we don't know this. We don't know the value of this ratio unless we know what a and a prime are. So in this case, we will need to know the exact coefficients. So in this course, if we encounter such a situation, we are going to say that, look, we are not able to distinguish between these two algorithms. Okay. So for that, maybe we will say that no, for that you actually need to run the program. But otherwise, if the ratio is tending to 0, if the leading terms are different, then we will be able to predict, and we will be able to predict without running anything. And our predictions will work for any language, any computer. Okay, of course, for large n. Yeah, so in this course, we'll consider such algorithms to be equally fast. Okay, and you may think that, look, this is a simplistic strategy, but it turns out to be extremely useful as you'll figure this out as we go through the course. All right, so some concluding remarks. So when we are designing algorithms, first what you should do is work out small examples by hand, get some intuition. Okay, so see what is going on. Now we wanted to estimate the size of a set, the set being the set of poetic meters. Okay, we broke up the set into elements starting with 1 and elements starting with 2. Such breaking up is often useful. So we didn't estimate the size of the set that we were given. We said, oh, let's break it up. And such breaking up and estimating the sizes of the subsets is a very standard strategy. It is called divide and conquer. Okay, we'll see many examples of it. The set elements starting with 1, with I, happen to have the same cardinality as v of t minus I. Okay? And this was a very happy coincidence, and this allowed us to use recursion. And it turns out that such happy coincidences do happen. Okay? And that is our job in this course. We have to find such happy coincidences. But rest assured that they will happen. I mean, life is nice. Okay? And One more point has to be made, that although we designed the algorithm thinking recursively, our best program was not recursive, it was iterative. So this is also something that we have to keep in mind. Our overall strategy is called dynamic programming, and it is a very powerful strategy, and we will study it extensively later on in the course. This recurrence, fi minus 1, fi equal to fi minus 1 plus fi minus 2, is Fibonacci's recurrence. And as I said earlier, it is quite likely that Fibonacci got this from Viranka, who lived centuries before Fibonacci. And it turns out that we can actually get a closed form expression for f of n. Okay, so search the web for this. Search the web for closed form expression for Fibonacci series, and you will discover some really interesting mathematical facts. Okay. All right. So that is the end of our first lecture, and I will stop over here with some problems. Okay. So this is extending the problem if we have three kinds of syllables. Okay. And okay, so I will leave you to solve these problems. Let me not explain to them. Okay, there is a hint given, and of course, no solutions are given right now, but you should try them out anyway. I think with the hint, you should be able to solve the problems. If not, by all means, talk to me or to the TAs. Okay, and there are a couple more problems, and this is related to the coin change problem that I mentioned earlier. Okay, and also the minimum coin change. Okay, all right. So we are going to stop, and thank you very much.